Hi children, in last class we saw power sharing. In political science, first chapter we have completed yet now, right? The first chapter, um, let we revise that chapter. In power sharing we saw how the power has been shared among different organs of government. To understand the topic much better, we have learned two case study of two countries, isn't it? That is on the case study of Belgium and Sri Lanka. In Belgium, how the power has been shared, as well as in Sri Lanka, how the power has been shared. And we saw why the power sharing has been desirable. In that we have two reasons, that is one moral reason as well as prudential reason. Then forms of power sharing, we have horizontal distribution of power, vertical distribution of power, political parties and a social group. In a vertical form of power sharing, it is union government, state government, and the local government. It is also known as federalism, that we will study deep in next chapter. Then horizontal distribution of power. In horizontal distribution of power, we saw the power has been shared among legislative, executive, and judiciary. Then political parties, what are all the political parties yet we have, that is ruling party, opposing party, as well as social groups. Yes, I hope you all completed the chapter and you know something about in that chapter. Today we are going to start with a new lesson in geography, that is resource and development. In this chapter we are going to see about the resource. We know that our earth is filled with abundance of resource. That is, resource is nothing but anything which can be used for satisfying the human needs, which is technologically accessible. That is termed as resource. We have types of resource. Resource can be classified on different basis, that is on the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of ownership, as well as on the basis of development. Today we are going to see these two types of resource. On the basis of origin, we have biotic, abiotic resource. What is biotic resource? That is, all living organism in our environment are called biotic resource. For example, human being, livestock, flora, fauna, or all comes under biotic resource. Abiotic resource is nothing but all non-living things present in our environment are termed as biotic resource. For example, what we say, air, water, metal, table, rocks, all comes under a biotic resource. Next, these are on the basis of origin. Next, we are moving to on the basis of exhaustibility. On the basis of exhaustibility, we have two forms, that is renewable, non-renewable resource. What is renewable resource? Resource that can be replenished after a short period of time are called renewable resource. For example, crops, agriculture, forest, wildlife, all comes under renewable resource. Next we move to non-renewable resource. What is meant by non-renewable resource? Resource which takes millions of years of time to replenish the resource, that is known as non-renewable resource. For example, coal, petroleum, fuels, all comes under non-renewable resource. Next we are moving to ownership. On the basis of ownership, we have four forms of ownership, that is individual ownership, community owned ownership, national owned, international owned. What is individual owned? Resource owned by individual are called individual resource. For example, land, farms, house, these are comes under individual resource. What is community owned resource? Resource owned by community or society are called community owned resource. For example, near to our house we have park, ground, which can be used by all your neighbors. That is known as community owned. What is meant by national owned? Resource owned by individual nations are called national resource. For example, government land, roads, canals, railways, these all comes under national resource. What is meant by international owned? Resource regulated by international bodies are called international resource. For example, oceans, seas, these are comes under international owned resource. So far we have completed these 4 types of resource. What is the last but not least, what is the last thing is development. That we have to see in a deep, that we will see in a next video. So far we have, what are all the things that we have learned so far? That is resource. What is a resource? Anything which can be used for satisfying the human needs. Those are called resource. We have types of resource, that is on the basis of origin, that is biotic and abiotic, exhaustibility, renewable resource as well as non-renewable resource, on the basis of ownership, that is individual owned, community owned, and national owned and international owned. So far we have learned these things. Get clear of these things and copy it in your classwork. In next class we will see what is meant by development, what is potential development, what is development, stock and reserves. I hope you all understood. Copy it in your classwork and read it once. Thank you.